Cayman's Talk Today with Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
But I do have some questions.
There are more questions than answers.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today.
If you're ready to talk, we're willing to listen.
Well, I really enjoy this program today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
May God bless every person.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome. What a wonderful Wednesday. Even though it's wet and rainy, still a beautiful day as we invite you to be a part of our discussions in 949-8037, 1-800-534-8255. Start off a good chat with our friends over at the Family Resource Center. Excellent company, Ms. Miles Ruby. So stay tuned for Talk Today.
Talk Today is brought to you by Subway, open 24 hours in Countryside, Anderson Square in Georgetown, and Centennial Towers in West Bay. And by the Ministry of District Administration, Tourism and Transport. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your sister islands. MedLab in Smith Road Plaza, your complete medical laboratory solution. Call 949-7331. And Savannah Pharmacy in Countryside Shopping Village, convenient opening hours including Sundays and holidays.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today, the Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program. We ask our listeners to avoid statements or comments which are abusive, derogatory, malicious, or defamatory. Do not use any indecent language or make any statement which is false or misleading. Email talktoday@candw.ky or call 1-800-534-8255.
Courtesy of Flow.
Cayman's #1 network that connects you to your world like never before.
Let your voice be heard. Once again, here's your host, Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back, and thanks for joining us. 949-8037, if you want to be a part of a discussion, as we welcome from the Family Resource Center, Ms. Miles Ruby. Hey, good afternoon. How are you today?
I'm great. How are you doing?
Good, good. Hey, thank you so much for being available, and you and the entire team for all the great work at the Family Resource Center that you do. And I know as we get the chance to talk now about heading back to school, I like how you say it, provide us with a survival guide. Is that for the parents or for the children?
For the parents.
I think we need that.
The kids survive the back-to-school experience.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's not even just for that child entering school for the first time, but that child that may be moving from one grade to the other within the same school, or even from one school to the next. Whether it's at the same, high school to another, or from one, middle and junior to high. So a survival guide. Does that come with masks, gloves, and all the armor? Or?
Hopefully not. Hopefully this year we'll avoid that. But thank you again for having us. For me, from the Family Resource Center, and as you know, we work a lot with parents, and I really want to help parents feel prepared for the new year. We're getting back to a kind of normalcy, and I think it's really important to kind of remember what we did before COVID and what it was like before, and sometimes, we get out of habit and we forget, oh, yeah, I used to do that. Why don't I do that anymore? But because things changed so much with COVID and we were doing remote learning, from home, a lot of our healthy or even unhealthy habits changed. And so what I really want to do today is help parents, give them some survival tips of preparing, the back-to-school experience, what they can do, what are some practical things they can do to make that transition easier. Because I don't, for any parent, the words back-to-school can, make us, breathe a sigh of relief, like, oh, thank God we're going back to school, but also quiver with anxiety. We've got, endless papers to sign, lunches to pack, carpools and extracurricular activities to remember, homework assignments to help with. And so the most important piece of advice I'd like to give is to start preparing early, which means now, for yesterday, right? Yeah. Most schools are starting back the end of this month, and I'm just hoping that, some of these tips will help them, tackle, this school year, with the help of their kids. And a lot of times here at FRC we talk about collaboration and, have your kids be a part of that process. You know, some of the tips I'll give are obviously just for the parent, but to elicit some of that collaboration, you'll have a lot more buy-in as well. So, you know, make it a family affair. And, you know, when that happens, everyone's involved, everyone has buy-in, we're all on the same page, expectations are clear, and there's no room for, you know, misinterpretation, miscommunication, and you know, feelings getting, you know, escalating and getting out of control. Because a lot of times as parents, when our expectations aren't met, that's when we get angry or upset or frustrated and impatient. So, you know, a lot of times if we just make it very clear, you know, what things are going to look like for this coming school year, and hear from our children as well, it can really help.
You know, as I listen to you, we may try for some of us anyway to use humor to help us through, you know, the life as it is. But, you know, was there a life before COVID? And I think as you were sharing, just the last 2 years, I joke and say the last 2 centuries, that's what I feel like, you know. But the way the children will return to school this time will be completely different. They'll be in person. That's the expectation. They don't have to engage in all of the other activities with the restraints, you know, that they had in the last 2 years. So even that transition psychologically, socially,
Absolutely. A lot of our kids, you know, as well as parents, have had a lot of challenges, you know, emotionally and mentally with all these social isolation and not having that face-to-face interaction. You know, we learn a lot through that, and there's a lot that we miss, especially in our developing kids and their brains when they're not, you know, picking up on those social cues, you know, because people are wearing masks or they're in the Zoom sessions. And so, you know, kids learn so much through play. And when they, you know, didn't have that opportunity to play, they missed out on those, you know, ability to develop empathy and develop social cues and to read other people and to be aware of their own social cues. You know, and that's a skill, and those are things that have to be taught. So, you know, just being patient with their children and understanding, and I'll talk a little bit at the end about, you know, helping them with those first school day jitters. You know, I think so often we forget what it was like to be a kid, and we forget to put ourselves in their shoes and remember what it was like for us that first day of school.
And this is it. Thank you.
There are a lot of different ways. You can be excited, you can be scared, and that's normal. That's okay. And if we can normalize and validate those feelings and just have a discussion and be curious about it, not necessarily try to fix it, but just let them vent and let them know that that's normal. You know, it's okay to feel that way. You know, all feelings are okay, just not all behaviors are okay. That's what we really teach at FRC. But, yeah, so, you know, but before we even get to that first day, there's so much as parents that we need to do to be proactive and not reactive and not be scrambling and, you know, running around, you know, like a chicken with its head cut off. You know, we want to feel in control. We want to feel confident. We want to feel relaxed about it and, you know, ready. And so those are the things I really want to talk about today.
Well, I really want you to share with us, because I think we, as you just shared, maybe as the parent, we may have forgotten what it was like, you know, the first day of school. We may be so excited for our children to get into this, you know, wonderful phase in their lives. We ourselves may be just, as you shared, you know, glad that, oh man, finally summer's over and they're going back. I don't
have to think about camps anymore and what am I going to do with my kids while I'm working. Yeah. And, you know, and that's stress too that will be relieved. But then with the school year comes a new and different kinds of stress. And so it's just really, it's important to be as prepared as we can. You know, it's, you know, we need to, just like at work, you know, we have meetings, we have, you know, expectations of what's expected, and, or that's redundant, but, you know, and so the home should really be no different in that regard.
And something that an educator reminded me, as you shared, you know, we learn, there's so much communication through nonverbal, you know, the body language, the facial expressions, and the like. And this educator was sharing that she had to, you know, almost teach that again to her children, her own children, and her students, because they're covered up, most of their faces. They're so physically distant that not only is that the anxiety and withdrawal when they start to interact, but how do they pick up on the learning through playing and the like. And I think maybe we as adults don't fully appreciate what potential negative impact that could be having now.
I'll be really curious, what the research shows years down the road, how COVID affected, these children's developing brains and, not just their emotional intelligence too, as far as empathy and learning to pick up on, like we said earlier, those social cues and how to interact, in ways that, how to join in and how to, ask to be part of, this game, during recess or, sitting with someone at lunchtime.
Yeah.
During those moments where they're kind of on their own and it's not as structured. And so, I think we have to remember that. They're not going to school with masks unless they want to. There's no social distancing, so it is a relief. But again, 2 years in an 8-year-old's life is a long time.
Exactly.
Whereas for us, doesn't seem as long because, we're much older. So.
Yeah, well, when you're 50, 2 years is nothing. When you're 8, 2 of your years, that's, a quarter of your life.
That's, 1/8 of your life.
Yeah,
or
2/8, yeah.
1/4 or something like that. But,
So
I think first and foremost as parents, we really need to be empathetic with our children and what they may be going through and what are some of their fears, anxieties, challenges they may have, and just be mindful of that. Give them that space and that grace to adjust back to the old normal, right? So what was, life was like before COVID.
Okay.
And so,
So when we come back from the break, then, Ms. Miles, just, jump in, share with us as much as possible. I think this is going to help us as parents to appreciate as much as we are excited for the child. There may be a bit of anxiety. The child might be, genuinely excited to want to go back or to even start, or move from, into big school, as we call it in some instances. But how is that going to affect them? I'm thinking, what if the child is... and we as adults, as many, have become very conditioned to certain behaviors in the last few years, and the child decides, I want to stay over here as far away from, some I don't want to interact, or I want to wear my mask. What potential, impact that would have relative to the interaction with the other children, and what is the other way around? The child says, hey, I want to live and breathe freely, and the other children aren't. So things to consider. So when we come back, we're going to be guided by you. You take us through, help us to learn. And if anyone listening want to ask a question, we have the expertise of Ms. Miles Ruby over at the Family Resource Center. We'll provide a survival guide for back to school. Stay tuned. We'll talk today.
Busy, busy, busy. Feel like there's not just enough hours in the day. Savannah Pharmacy, service to make your life easier. Now you can WhatsApp your prescription order to 929-5045. And pickup is just around the corner with everything your family needs and convenient opening hours including Sundays and holidays. WhatsApp your prescription order to 929-5045. Savannah Pharmacy, wholesome values with modern conveniences. Superior Auto is pleased to announce the grand reopening of the new Superior Auto Apprenticeship Center on Seymour Drive. New opportunities, new beginnings, a new home for Caymanian youth seeking career training and certification in high-demand trades such as automotive repair, AC, refrigeration, and so much more. Put the value in your pocket. Fun fact, the average hourly rate for a tradesman can be 4.5 times the minimum wage. The Superior Auto Apprenticeship Center is a not-for-profit program. Contact 949-9570 or 525-9571 to apply today. The Superior Auto Apprenticeship Center, successfully building the next generation of hardworking Caymanians since 2010.
For medical lab services in Cayman, go straight to MedLab.
For a full range of medical services, pleasant, clean and comfortable environment, no long lines and affordable fees, visit MedLab at the Smith Road Plaza. Open Monday to Friday, 8:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. and half day on Saturdays. Call 949-7331 to make your appointment.
For medical lab services in Cayman, MedLab.
Ask our professional team about the benefits of cutting-edge technology with MedLab's new state-of-the-art digital mammogram machine.
Back to school. Education is knowing the best back-to-school specials are at Reflections. Step into savings with up to 50% off selected footwear brands. Buy one pair and get the second pair of back-to-school shoes at 25% off. Save 50% off on all U.S. Polo handbags and backpacks. Ladies, don't miss the amazing daily deals in the clearance section on special selected women's fashions. Keep it classic with Levi jeans in a wide variety of styles and sizes from 28 to 48. And for the freshest gear, check out the new stock of Nike, Puma, Adidas, Johnny Cotton, and more. The best back-to-school savings are at Reflections. Find them on Shedden Road beside the mango tree. Open daily from 9 a.m. till after dark.
We'll be the coolest kids in school.
Your Radio Cayman 6 p.m. news, Monday through Friday, is brought to you by Logic. Your life connected.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back, and thanks for joining us. And thanks too to Ms. Miles Rubio for the Family Resource Center, the Back to School Survival Guide. Ms. Miles, I was thinking, even the students now hearing this and thinking, wait a minute, it's just a couple of days into August. What are you talking about back to school? We've got weeks left. So they don't want to hear about that, do they?
Of course not. They want to stay up late and wake up, late. And that's one of my first tips, is to get your kids really back into that early to bed, early to rise routine. Because, it takes our bodies a few weeks, to get into a different rhythm, when we fall asleep and when we wake up. So, but by transitioning ahead of time, don't wait for the night before first day of school. You're going to make it a lot easier for your kid to rise and, and shine for the day, right? Especially that first week, because everyone's, it's hard to get back into new routines, and it's an adjustment. So I would also encourage the parent to set their own clock 15 to 30 minutes ahead of their kids, and to give themselves a bit of time, quiet time to get ready for the day, so that, during that chaotic morning, they're not also trying to get themselves ready. That extra 15 minutes can make such a difference in your mindset, and if you're calm and in control, you're going to be able to parent a lot easier than if you're in a frantic and you're rushing and you're trying to rush the kids. So it's really important, we don't want to get in those battles of trying to get the kids out of bed. So start now, start and do it incrementally. Start, if they're going to bed, let's say at 9, and you want them to be in bed at 8 for the school year, start, do in 15-minute increments every day. Like, okay, today you're going to bed at 8:45. In a few days, you're going to bed at 8:30. And then a few more days, 8:15, and then 8. And eventually, their body will readjust to that, and also get them up earlier. So that not only are they used to going to bed earlier, but also getting up earlier. Because that sometimes can be the hardest part, is getting them, out of the bed in the morning, and that can be some of the worst battles, right? And then it puts everyone behind, and it makes things more chaotic. So, start now. Get those kids, in that routine of going to bed earlier and waking up earlier. Yes, I know it's summertime, but it's going to make your life and the children's life a lot easier on that first morning.
Right.
And to give yourself that extra time, too. And some parents are like, I'm so tired, I need to sleep in as late as I can. But when you weigh the pros and cons of having that extra few minutes to yourself to get yourself sorted, you'll be grateful. I mean, as a parent of 3 kids that I've raised, all through, high school, and now they're in university and some out of university, it's well worth it. to set that alarm earlier and get yourself ready earlier and get used to getting up a little earlier. And, self-care is important. Make sure you go to bed, earlier too if you can, when you can, and try to make that a habit as well. So you're also setting that good example.
Right. So can I ask you then from that perspective two things? We're talking about sleeping, and we'll say, well, that child is under 10 or 12. But what about the teenage child? The child is in high school. What's the take on that?
As our kids get older, we want to give them more choices. We always want to give, effective boundaries, give them, set limits, but, it needs to be age appropriate. And as kids get older, they can stay up longer, and a lot of times they're doing homework later into the night.
Mm-hmm.
And, but they're more independent where they can set their own alarm. But as a parent, too, you need to make sure that you set things up so that they can go to bed earlier. Because teenagers need a lot more sleep than we realize. All the research shows that teenagers need, at least 8 hours or more of sleep, just like our little ones. And we find that they're getting 6 or less hours of sleep a day. And they're just not going to be as effective in school. None of us are when we're tired. So encouraging them to find ways to, get up on their own, getting them their own alarm clock, not on their phone, because then they'll be on their phone. Put the alarm clock across the room on the dresser so they have to get out of bed to turn it off, and not just hit snooze, 20 times.
Mm-hmm.
But giving them and doing some dry runs, before school starts, see how it works, and kind of problem solve.
Mm-hmm.
And especially with the older kids, what works for you may not work for your teenager.
Mm-hmm.
And so you need to hear from them and let them have a voice and see what works for them.
Right.
And sometimes it's trial and error, but giving them that flexibility, because in a few years those kids are going to be off to university or living on their own, and they're not going to have you to go wake them up in the morning and open the shades and turn on the light, and so we need to encourage that independence. We need to raise our kids to leave us, is what I always say.
Yeah.
Ideally, we do. We want them to fly the nest and be independent and be able to feel confident that they can, be on their own, whether they're in university or living out on their own.
Mm-hmm.
We don't want to enable them to be dependent on others. They need to learn to be dependent on themselves. So, and every child's different. Some children at an early age, will want that independence sooner. And, let them have it. Give them that. There's so much in their lives that's controlled.
Mm-hmm.
And any opportunity they have to exert their power and independence, we want to encourage that.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we want to see in our young adults and later as they mature into, adulthood. So we don't want to take away those opportunities for them to learn those routines and those strategies that work for them.
As I listen to you, it comes back down to the parent, not just modeling, setting the example, but also being disciplined. Maybe the parent needs to look at having a better sleep hygiene, having a bedtime, maybe being, that role model so that the child sees you.
Well, absolutely, and to have that discussion with the child, like, okay, maybe you have to start working, backwards. Okay, what time do you need to get up in the morning to get ready? We have to be out the door by this time. How much time do you need to get ready?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I need an hour. Okay, we need to be out the door by, I'm just going to throw out a number. We need to be out the door by 7, let's say.
Mm-hmm.
So that means you have to be out of bed by 6. Yeah, but I need a few minutes to wake up. It takes me 10 or 15 minutes to wake up. Okay, so what time would you need to set your alarm? Okay, I guess that would be 5:45 instead of 6.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so knowing that, sometimes if you get them involved in that discussion, then it comes from them, and they're listening to some ideas, and they're doing that thinking and problem solving. They're going to feel better about it than just being told what to do.
Right. And I guess in a household where there are more than one child, they're all different, right? And let's look at the logistics. They may or may not have their own rooms or own bathrooms, so there may be a shared space. The one child can get up and very quickly get bunks in and ready to go. the other child may need, 4 times as long,
Yeah, and we have to respect that. I always say, we have to parent our children uniquely, not equally.
Mm-hmm.
With my 3 daughters, they're all very different. Some needed more sleep than others. Some like to go to bed early. Some were night owls, And so, knowing that, there is some flexibility, but there are also some things that, as a parent, that you are non-negotiable. Like you're not staying up till midnight playing on your, PlayStation or your Switch or whatever it is, or be on your phone on social media. There needs to be certain guidelines, to encourage them to fall asleep, to get into that routine. And as parents, that is our responsibility. We always say here that parents are the biggest agents of change for kids, for our children. And so, we need to be the person that puts those expectations and those guidelines in place, be that role model, and, do the hard work of parenting sometimes. We can't just assume that the kid knows what they need. And so but also, collaborating with them and working with them and showing some flexibility models that as well. Like, if you're willing to be a little flexible, then your child learns to be flexible.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And that's key. That's key.
Yeah, it is. It is. Mm-hmm. So, sometimes just getting them out of bed is for some parents, the hardest part. Mm-hmm. Once they get up and moving, they can maybe get ready in 10, 15 minutes, but it can take 15, 20 minutes to get them out of bed. So, setting that alarm clock earlier for that child.
Right.
To give them that time and space. With some children and some people, when they feel rushed, they slow down.
Mm-hmm. That's it.
It causes anxiety, and then you've got to deal with that on top of everything else.
Yep. So let's pause and take this quick little schedule break, but come back and expound on that for us some more, if you would, as we provide that survival guide for back to school. A quick heads up, though, 1:30. The wonderful events manager over at the Ministry of Sports, Youth, Culture and Heritage, Ms. Ventisha Connolly, will be our guest, and there's some excellent programs and little things, including a food festival that the ministry has coming up. So she's going to tell us about that. But that's 1:30. We're now talking to Ms. Miles Ruby of the Family Resource Center. So after the break, please rejoin us.
Subway's giving you flavor around the clock with the new Chicken Squad sandwich options. Try the classic chicken and bacon ranch, the sweet and savory barbecue chicken, or the chicken cordon bleu. 3 new appetizing and delicious sub options that you can also make into a wrap. The Chicken Squad is available at Subway for only a limited time. Subway, giving you something to cluck about.
On the road again.
Boss, I broke down on the road, The truck looked like an Optimus Prime barbecue.
In this heat, not surprised. But we need to get this cargo moving. Let's get the truck into Superior Auto pronto.
When your trucks go down, Superior Auto is the team to get you back up. Reliable, quality-trained technicians who value your time and aim to get your trucks back in service so you can continue to be of service to your customers. Specializing in complete Isuzu, Hino, and other models of delivery box trucks and its repairs, including computer diagnostics, mechanical and body repair. Superior Auto, 525-9571 or 949-9570. Keep on trucking with Superior Auto.
At Doctors Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctors Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
Your Yesteryear Musical, Saturday evenings at 8 o'clock on Breeze Radio. Entertaining, enlightening, and inspirational. Topical with CI cultural and heritage flashbacks. and the wonderful music of yesteryear, from the Thomas Edison era to the recent past. Your Yesteryear Music Hour, Saturdays at 8 p.m. on Breeze Radio, 105.3 FM in Grand Cayman and 91.9 FM in Cayman Brac and Little Cayman.
The public are advised of the following road closure. The section of Cardinal Avenue between Albert Panton Street and Edward Street will be temporarily closed to traffic, projected to reopen at the end of August. As part of the Georgetown Revitalization Initiative, work is being carried out to transform Cardinal Avenue into a pedestrian-friendly street. For more information, members of the public can follow the Georgetown Revitalization Initiative on Facebook and Instagram at GT Revitalization.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome back, and thanks for joining us on the phone, almost as if in the studio. It's the wonderful company of Miss Miles Ruby from the Family Resource Center. So, as a back-to-school survival guide, Miss Miles?
Yes, absolutely.
We
all need it. For those of us who have kids going back to school in the next couple weeks or the end of the month, it's so important that we do everything we can to be ready for school.
If I could ask of you, we're talking, and almost by implication, we're sort of thinking of the children for whom they'll still, remain in our homes. We'll get them to school either by driving or by the bus. At some point, if it's okay, could we also ask about that child that is either, leaving a home to university, going to boarding school, or returning to boarding school, but will be schooled separate and apart from our own homes here on Island? If there are any sort of tips or any advice and counsel you could give to those parents and students as well.
I'm one of those parents. I've got one kid going off to university. She leaves next week.
Congratulations.
Thank you. A little failure to launch because of COVID, but she is finally on her way, and there were a lot of moving pieces and that we had to coordinate, to be prepared for all those different expectations and being away from home for the first time, but yeah, we can talk about that towards the end, for sure. And a lot of the tips I'll give will somewhat transfer. You can help your child, have it become, a discussion that you have with them about, what are their plans and how they're going to get to class on time and get their needs met and handle, difficulties and temptations and all those kind of things. Yeah, it's definitely, it is the same but very different because they don't have you there as a daily guide. And that's why it's so important now to help your child build these, healthy routines and strategies so that when they do go off to university or go back to boarding school, whatever, that they feel prepared, they feel confident, they feel ready, and that they can tackle any problem because you've given them those opportunities to learn and not always just be told what to do, but to be critical thinkers and problem solvers and be able to learn to say no to their friends and their peers when they've encouraging them to maybe skip a class or, go out and party when they know they have an exam the next morning, things of that nature. And so it's different in a lot of ways, but the same as well. And just creating those good habits. And while your kids are home with you, that's when you have that opportunity to do that so that you feel confident when they do go off that they're ready. Because in a sense, you've helped build those healthy habits and those good critical thinking skills, where they can still have fun but make smart choices. Right? So, other than getting your kids back into that, early to bed, early to rise routine, this was one thing that really helped me as a parent, and it's also very recommended, from all the different experts, in the field, is to create somewhat of a family planner or as the kids get older, they can have their own individual planners. And what you do is you put important dates, times, and contact information. So it's all in one place. It's not scattered everywhere. And so, it's kind of like your all-in-one phone book, calendar, and to-do list. It can be electronic. It can be, paper form, whatever works for you. Some of us are more old school than others. But, when your kid's school calendar arrives, you enter all the holidays, all the vacations, all the half days, You note the dates and times, when they come in for, football practice, for games, if there's a performance, any extra, like field trips, things of that nature. And then, contact information for coaches and teachers and principals and, tutors, whatever that might be. And then, especially for those older kids, because, again, you want to help them learn good habits and good strategies, is have their own day planners and help them organize it independently, because that's a skill they can use the rest of their lives. So discuss scheduling and other needs, especially if you're co-parenting, who's picking up, who's dropping off, and who's taking, the child to the appointment, but to stay organized and have everything in one place is really going to make your life easier. We even had a whiteboard, like a calendar for the month that was a dry erase board, and it was all color-coded. Like each child had their own color. Each parent had their own color, because we all had extracurricular activities and different, tests coming up. And sometimes as a parent, when you have multiple children, you just need to see something all in once so you can connect the dots, because sometimes we don't connect the dots. It's like, oh, I didn't realize that was the same day. But if you record it all on a calendar, whether it's on a whiteboard, in a planner, in your phone or laptop or tablet, whatever it is, you'll be able to get a picture, kind of a snapshot of what that day and what that week and what that month's going to look like, so that you can organize, dinners and who needs to be where at what time, and you're not overbooking yourself or double booking yourself. Because sometimes we also have to learn to say no. That's just not something I can do right now, because I have work and, your dad has work, and there's this, you're going to have to figure out your own ride if you want to do this extracurricular activity, if there's no bus or whatever, and helping them to problem solve around that.
Right.
I think, for them it's really important to, as they get older, to have that skill, because it's very important in our jobs that we stay organized.
Very transferable. And as I listen to you, even to that family where, if I may just use your household, you guys are very, very public. You've been very gracious to share, some of yourself. And we see the physical activity. We see the of parents in terms of exercise, their work. We see the children, with the encouragement of their parents, get involved with it. Yeah. So with that, then, what you're sharing, this organized, structured approach, not just instills discipline and creates independence and problem solving, but may help you to properly connect, so you can plan those family get-togethers, whether it's the meal or the outing.
Exactly. Like, hey, this is a great night where we're all home to have like a family game night.
Yeah.
And make it a ritual, And as our kids get older, especially our teenagers, they need us more than ever then. I mean, so often, our teenagers will go in their room, shut the door, and we don't see them. And we need to create a home environment where they feel like they want to be a part of it.
Right.
Where they have a voice.
Yeah.
Where they get a say. And that's where those family meetings are so important. We have meetings all the time at work to keep ourselves organized and working towards our goals, and for things to run smoothly, and home should be no different. Yeah,
I'm glad you referenced that. I wrote down a few minutes ago family meetings. And I made a note. We have meetings for our organizations, whether it's our work or civic organizations. But how many of us actually have a family meeting that isn't about a crisis or isn't about something? You're just connecting up.
Right. And it doesn't have to be formal.
No.
Some families are just so busy. It could be, at the breakfast table, okay, or Sunday night before, when we're at dinner and we're just talking about the week, and you can have someone be the scribe and, you know, put things on the calendar and, you know, but it's just so important to get organized and help your child learn that skill. Because if we're not organized, we can miss meetings, we can miss tests, you know, when papers are due. And so it's so important that all those kind of, you know, because those kids will get a syllabus a lot of times of tests and projects. Plug it in the calendar, you know, and help them learn how to do that, you know, and maybe you might need to sit down with them and start it, but then, you know, eventually they'll learn to do that on their own. And it's very encouraging for kids to feel independent, and it's very empowering, you know, to know, hey, I can organize my own life, and I can sort this out myself. And, you know, that builds confidence and resiliency and also that growth mindset where instead of, well, I had to have someone else organize my life, I can do it myself. You know?
But something that you shared, I mean, you know, talking about using the whiteboard, for some of us, that works for us. Others, we may like the electronic thing where we have a shared electronic calendar for the family. Yeah. I like the physical, you know, calendar, the board somewhere. Because it helps me. I can look at it quickly. When we come back, when we come back from the break, in addition to all the other things I asked you about, you know, the child that is not going to be physically in the house or with you, what about the world that we find ourselves on? The nice phrase, you know, co-parenting, or that family that's navigating, you know, that environment, whether it's an established environment or whether it's one that is imminent. Are there any particular considerations as to how to ensure that you, as the two adults, conduct yourselves in a way that doesn't impact the child and all those things? Can we talk about something about that as well?
Yeah, we can touch on that a little bit.
Okay, sure. All right, we're going to pause and take that break. Ms. Miles Ruby will stay with us. Remember, 1:30, another excellent civil servant, Ms. Ventisha Conley from the Ministry of Sports, Youth, Culture and Heritage. She's the events manager over there. Will join us, you know, for a separate discussion. I'm excited to hear about a food festival that's coming up, but we'll get to that in a bit. Stay tuned for Talk Today.
Continuing the Caymanian tradition. Let Cora keep my ground so clean. The heart and soul of the Cayman people. Thank you for keeping the culture alive.
Let's read the news every day. From East End to Georgetown, down into West Bay.
Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman. Your voice, your choice.
Local, regional, international. This is Headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
Today's biggest news.
With your latest headlines, I'm Felicia Rankin-Solins. Every year, the Department of Children and Family Services designates individuals in the Cayman Islands community as ambassadors for its Older Persons Month, observed in October. For 2022, DCFS invites new ambassadors to celebrate those persons' achievements, leadership, and/or advocacy in supporting older persons and contributions to the community. Send completed forms as an email attachment to dcfs@gov.ky. The deadline for submissions is Friday, September 2nd, 2022. In international news, former U.S. President Donald Trump has said he declined to answer questions as part of a New York investigation into his family's business practices. Mr. Trump arrived at the New York Attorney General's office on Wednesday. State officials have accused the Trump Organization of obtaining tax breaks and loans through fraudulent or misleading asset valuations. Mr. Trump denies wrongdoing and has described the civil investigation as a witch hunt. Scientists are tracking a new animal-derived virus in eastern China that has infected at least several dozen people. The novel LayV virus was found in 35 patients in the Shandong and Henan provinces. Many had symptoms such as fever, fatigue, and a cough. They are thought to have contracted the virus from animals. There is no evidence so far LayV can transmit among humans. These are your headlines. I'm Felicia Rankin-Solins.
For the latest in news and information,
follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio Cayman app or log on to our website, radiocayman.gov.ky.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon, welcome back, and thanks for joining us. And on the phone, as if in the studio, from the Family Resource Center, when the program facilitators, Ms. Miles Ruby, joins us. And I appreciate you providing us with this back-to-school survival guide, Ms. Miles. Kind of wish I had that, you know.
I know, sometimes we just kind of wing it, and, you know, just on a hope and a prayer. And so if we can have some guidelines and some, you know, some tips to help make that transition easier for all of us. You know, not only as a parent will you be setting a good example, but it's going to make it easier on you and the child, right?
Yeah. Well, you provided some excellent input and advice, counsel thus far. So, you know, as you share, I've actually made some notes. And even though, you know, they say you can't teach an old dog new tricks, but maybe you can teach new tricks to an old dog.
Yeah, maybe so. Maybe so. You know, it's never too late to learn something new, right?
Yeah.
But you had mentioned, you know, about co-parenting, and I touched on a little bit. And the one thing, you know, we do offer, you know, co-parenting program here. It's called Transitions through our Triple P program, and that just really helps give parents the skills to co-parent effectively, where it's very child-centered, keeps the child out of the middle as far as, you know, when it comes to conflict or differences. But when it comes to school, you know, and if the child's going back and forth between home, the one thing, you know, sometimes, you know, it can be high conflict. It could be where the parents aren't really speaking to one another, or it's just, you know, not very amicable. It's just important that you can set up some kind of system where there is a communication, whether it's email, you know, text, WhatsApp, you know, and then just keep it focused around the child and not bring up any old stuff. But one thing we always remind the parent that we're working with, who is a co-parent, is that, you know, you can only control what happens in your house. And, you know, when it comes to homework, you know, picking up, dropping off, you know, it's important that you focus on what you can control. And we can't control the other household, the other parent, what they do or don't do regarding homework or discipline. You know, you can equip your child with some of the tools that they need to ensure that, you know, they're doing what they need to do when they're away from you. But if you're going to try to control that other parent, you're just going to, you know, end up being very frustrated and usually get a lot of pushback, and it's just not going to end well. So, you know, your 50%, what you do counts, and it does matter. And, you know, we do have resources here at the Family Resource Center to help equip you so that you can learn how to diffuse conflict when it comes, you know, when it's around the child in the school or extracurricular activities, and, you know, who's paying and who's picking up and who's dropping off and who's buying the uniforms and the cleats and, you know, all those different things. And we really help parents, you know, learn how to do that in an effective way that minimizes any negative consequences on the child, because we don't want the child caught in the middle. We don't, you know, they need the opportunity and the space and the grace to love both parents, even though the parents may not love each other anymore. But the child comes from both parents. They know that they're half mom, half dad, and, you know, we have to be very mindful of that. That it's like sometimes it'll be like they're in two different countries and they're moving from one country to another every other week. And but these countries are at war, but they love both countries. So we have to remember that, you know, give them that space, and that they need to be able to feel excited to go to the other parent's home. And, you know, if they don't do their homework and they don't, that's on the child too. You know, I mean, they're going to suffer that natural consequences of a poor grade or you know, whatever that might be in school. But, you know, you can focus on what you can control. Like when you're in our house, these are our rules, and these are things that, you know, during the family meeting we discussed. This is the expectation in this house. What happens in mom or dad's house is that's between you and your dad, or that's between you and your mom. But in this home, this is this is the expectation. These are the rules. You know, these are the consequences when you follow the rules, and these are the consequences when you don't follow the rules. And they've been a part of that discussion. It's not assumed. And you can have empathy, say, well, you know, it must be fun not to have any responsibility or account, you know, at your dad's or your mom's, but here, you know, I'm trying to prepare you for the real world and to be ready to be independent. and as a parent, that's my job, and I wouldn't be doing very good at parenting if I didn't prepare you to be on your own, to learn these habits and strategies and how to be accountable and to organize yourself. So, and in that same thing, we want to make sure that our kids, have what they need in both homes. It's so often sometimes, like, you can have everything you need that they need in your home, but you can't control what's in the other home. So making sure your kid has what they need, in their backpack when they go to the other parent's house.
Yeah.
Sometimes it doesn't always come back, and that's really frustrating too. So those are things you have to kind of work out with the co-parent. Hopefully you can do that in an amicable way.
Right.
But at the end of the day, we want what's best for our kids.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, you, as the parents, the adults, probably sometimes don't realize that even your exchanges, the words, just the looks, how that could affect the child. I'll use the thing we see in the movies, that the handover, so to speak.
Yes. We talk about that in transitions. We talk about what that can look like and how to mitigate any potential conflicts and how to keep the child. We want to protect the child. You may not like your co-parent anymore, and that's okay, but you don't want to make your child feel like they have to choose one or the other, or that they're just loyal to you if they show love towards the other parent. It can get complicated. I know it's not easy, but we do have resources here to help you through that.
Could you share with us that? Yeah, because I think at the outset, now while people listening, I mean, if they want to make an appointment with the FRC, let's tell them now. We can remind them again later.
Absolutely, please. You can email us at frc@gov.ky. You can give us a call at 949-0006. We also have a web page where you can fill in referral. It's frc.gov.ky. And, so there are a lot of different ways that you can reach out to us. And we have, individual parent coaching. We have groups. We work, with transitions. We also have SNAP, which is, for kids with challenging behaviors. And we do have some openings. We're starting a new group in September for boys ages 9 to 11, and we have a couple openings. So if you're out there listening and you've got some really challenging behaviors at home or school or both, please give us a call. It's a really good program to help the children learn how to have some self-control and keep their problems small and stay out of trouble and stay in school. So we offer a lot of different programs, and they're all free. And so that's something you don't find everywhere else in the world. And we're very proud that, we have a government that really supports, this preventive type of programming where we're working with parents and in some cases the children too, like SNAP. But, as parents, you can never have enough parenting tools. And so we say, you only know what you know, and we tend to parent the way we are parented. But we have different kids today, we have different culture, different times, and sometimes we need some different parenting tools. And you can never have enough parenting tools in that parenting tool belt, so to speak. And so sometimes, you might need to try something new, because if you keep trying the same thing over and over, expecting a different result, you're just going to be frustrated. So, just learning, some different strategies and tips and everything we do is evidence-based. It's all been researched. We've either been, we're trained and accredited in the different programs, Triple P, Positive Parenting, SNAP, emotion coaching through the Gottman Institute, collaborative and proactive solutions. We have a lot to offer. And so I would love for, more people to be able to take advantage of the services that we do provide for free. And, and just like giving advice, through different mediums like social media, like here on the radio. We have a Facebook and Instagram account. We're always giving little tips and tricks, little golden nuggets that kind of help parents. Right now we have an anxiety workshop, for parents with children with anxiety, and that's going on right now. So,
right.
So, there is a lot that we offer, and you don't have to do it alone. And there's no shame in asking for help. It's different times, and with so many families, we've got both parents working, or we've got a single parent home, and it's hard. It's hard to do it on your own, and if sometimes it's not rocket science. It's just tweaking a little bit of what we do, and maybe changing some of our own habits to make things easier for everyone in the family, and having that willingness to be flexible and adaptable, right? And we've learned that through COVID.
That is so true. Huh? And the stuff you've shared is, just for example, you're talking about a co-parent to make sure that they on the same page. But even the family and the household where both partners are in the household, the children, just communication. Remember today you need to take Johnny, to football. I'll pick him up.
And working together. Remember, you're a team. I always tell parents, hey, you're a team. It's a lot easier to work in a team than solo. And I have a lot of parents I work with that are single parents, and they don't get that break. They don't have that support, and it's a lot harder. Some have some family or friend support, but when you're, use that partner as a team player, and we all have our strengths and challenges, and maybe one of you is better at homework, and the other one's better at helping in other ways, with organization. But use those strengths, and where I might not be really good in one area, my husband is good, and so use that to your advantage.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right. So we'll take the final break, Miss Miles, and when you come back, we'll go until 1:30. But please, share with us anything you want to.
I've got some more tips I want to share before.
Yes.
So I want to get through those as well.
Okay, and we're going to be anxiously waiting for those. And thank you for taking this time with us. So Miles Ruby from the Family Resource Center, she's going to give us some more tips. So stay tuned for Talk Today.
You see how hard it's raining?
Yeah, and I don't have time to fight traffic and get my lunch from Subway. I have so much work to do.
Why don't you order Subway by using the Let's Eat or Bento app? Save time, stay dry, and get your sandwich fast.
I never thought of that. Great idea. I'm going to order now.
Order me a veggie pizza while you're at it.
And a cookie platter for the office.
Too busy at work or home? Is the rainy weather stopping you from dining out? Order your favorite Subway sandwich, wrap, or pizza through the Let's Eat or Bento app with fast and reliable delivery. Subway, eat fresh.
For medical lab services in Cayman, go straight to MedLab. Blood test, x-ray, and mammogram, all of that is MedLab. Affordable fees and friendly service, a full professional team. MedLab is always comfortable, MedLab is always clean. For medical lab services in Cayman, MedLab.
Call 949-7331 and ask about MedLab's new state-of-the-art digital mammogram machine.
Breitling watches are defined by quality, innovation, and style, and you have the chance to win one in August during Kirk Freeport's 50th anniversary sweepstakes. Each month, lucky shoppers have the chance to win a piece of jewelry or a watch from luxury brands. Every purchase of $100 at any Kirk Freeport store gains you entry into the monthly drawing, so stop in today. Next up, September's prize is the Chopard Happy Dreams bracelet. View terms and conditions on KirkFreeport.com.
Did you know that ValueMed Pharmacy has a free online prescription service? Managing your health and medical requirements has never been easier with ValueMed. Simply visit value-medpharmacy.com. That's VALU-medpharmacy.com and click the Refill Prescriptions tab on our website. Fill in the information for new prescriptions or refills and choose your preferred pickup location. ValueMed on Walkers Road or Boddentown. Then bring in your original prescription from your doctor when picking up. There's no need to stand in line and wait for your prescription. Save time and pick up prescriptions at your convenience by visiting value-medpharmacy.com. That's VALU-medpharmacy.com.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back, and thanks for joining us. And thanks to the fantastic team here. We have already came on, and now as we continue our discussion, a few more minutes with the excellent company of Ms. Miles Ruby over the Family Resource Center. Really appreciate the tips you've given us, and I hope you don't mind. I've taken some notes, and I may be able to employ them for myself. Yeah.
Absolutely. That's what I'm here for, And because sometimes you might be talking to a friend or a family member, and you can pass this on to them as well. And sometimes just one little thing can make a huge difference. Right. When you make a change.
Can I charge for it? Because this is good advice. They'll have to pay for it otherwise. So.
I don't know. I'll send you a bill later.
Okay. Well, I'll pass it on. I'd be like CUC as a pass-through cost.
I'm sorry, what?
I said it'll be like CUC and it'll be a pass-through cost. You pass it. No, I'm just trying my best to make people have a little levity today. Huh? But anyway.
Absolutely. Well, let me get on with some of the other tips I'd like to share.
Yes, please.
So it kind of seems like a no-brainer, but sometimes we forget some of the most obvious things, and that are the school uniforms and the supplies. So now's the ideal time to go through those kids' drawers and their closets, and it's their stuff, so get them involved, right? And drawer by drawer, or hanger by hanger, look at each item of clothing together, saving what fits and discarding what doesn't. The kids grow so fast, and as your kids sort, have them make a list of what they need to get to start the year. Maybe those socks don't fit anymore, or those shoes, or the belt, and making sure you get those lists from the school and start the shopping now, because they may not have everything you need at the store you normally go to. You might need to go to 2 or 3 stores, right? And so, go through those closets, go get those uniforms, make sure there's a little bit of growing room, I always say, and make space for what they need for the school year, right? Going through their book bags, throwing out stuff that they don't need. If they've got binders that are broken or torn out, get rid of them, and make a list. And they can be a part of that, help them. It shouldn't just be all on you. They can be a part of this so they understand and can appreciate, what is involved in preparing themselves for school. And, as the older they are, the more independence they can have and freedom. But, and as parents, if we haven't given them that guidance, then we can't expect them just to know. We can't just assume that, they should know. Have we taught them this, right? Another tip I think is really important is to designate a really good study space for homework, and get all the supplies they need for homework, right? So you need to decide, where the kids can study and where they can't. So, if the dining room table is what they use for meals, that may not be the best place to do homework. Or it might be a great place. It just depends on how your home's set up. Do they have a desk in their bedroom? But sometimes the bedroom can be too much of a distraction because there are too many things there that are inviting and enticing. Maybe they need to set up shop somewhere else. But clear off a desk or a table, put a lamp there, buy the supplies, before school starts. Just remember that any quiet area, that has good lighting and a good writing surface can make a good study space. As long as out of earshot of the TV or things like that, you want to make sure those things are turned off. But once you've picked that area that's good for, where you can kind of be close by if they need your help, but they still are kind of on their own. It might need to be in the kitchen, while you're cooking dinner and they are at the kitchen table. Make sure they know where their supplies go, where that area is, so they can put them away where they need to be every day. They're not scattered all over the house. And, incentivize and collaborate with them. And that, again, increases that buy-in from them. Because, especially if our kids have, like, ADHD, you might need a couple different places because, their brains aren't as stimulated as the kids without it. And so sometimes they need background music or they need white noise, whereas other kids need quiet, And so, you know your kid best. You're the expert on your child. And sometimes it is going to be trial and error. But, making sure you have that space for your child to do their homework, and having a little bit of flexibility, especially as they get older. They might, want to do it in their bedroom, on their bed. Well, I remember buying one of those lap desks, that has like the beanbag bottom and the hard surface on the top, so that my daughter, she liked to be sitting on her bed with that, doing her reading or doing her writing, away from everything else, with her little background music going, and that worked for her. But having it in the kitchen, it just didn't work, at the kitchen table. So, learning what works for your kid and collaborating with them is really important. Another thing, I think this is really important, and it can be challenging, but it could really save you in the long run, is to actually, before school starts, establish a smooth morning routine and do a dry run before school starts, because for most families, mornings are the most hectic part of the day. So now's the time, before school starts, to start establishing a smooth morning routine. Do a dry run. Talk with each child about what they need to do each morning. Go over the order of tasks. What time do you need to start getting dressed? Who's walking the dog? What's the bottom, line out the door time? And make a list of those morning tasks and post it where everyone can see it. So everyone knows, this is my contribution to the morning routine. And if we can start our day with a nice, smooth morning routine, and we're not yelling and screaming and rushing, it's going to make everyone's day, a lot better if you start off on the, in a more peaceful, calm, not hectic morning. So that to me is, if you can try that, before, because then you can look at any kinks, like, oh, I didn't think about this, I didn't think about that. Where's our, maybe having a landing station or homework headquarters, or this is where all the book bags go, and this is where the keys go, and everything's by the front door, or, setting up some kind of station, and so that you're not scrambling and, lose your mind when you're trying to get, 3 kids in the car and your own stuff as well, right? Mm-hmm. And lastly, to kind of set up your own headquarters, the kids need their kind of space, but as a parent, we kind of need our own space, for child and home-related documents. Because whether you're staying at home and working, or you're working outside the home, you're the CEO, you're the boss of your household, right? And every CEO or boss needs their own space. And that, so take over the spare bedroom, or clear out an alcove, under the stairs, but pick a spot and make it yours. Think of a space as your control central, like that's your command center. Mm-hmm. And that's from which you run the household. You can keep a separate file on every child, on your medical records, their report cards, anything like that, and get organized before school starts. Mm-hmm. And not just, using the dining room table as your headquarters, and because it's so important to eat as a family. We stress that a lot at FRC, to make that time, even if it's not every night, at least once or twice a week. Mm-hmm. And some of our, we don't have the luxury of having an office in a house or a spare bedroom, but finding even a corner where you can set up a little desk, treat yourself to that. It doesn't have to be fancy, but just where you can, even if it's a filing cabinet, where you can keep everything organized. Or just a binder with, like an accordion binder with the different spots, and you can have different spots for different kids or for different things, so you're not scrambling looking for things when you're in a hurry, and you'll save time and aggravation that way. But like we talked about before, it's so important to discuss, your child's potential anxiety, and help them practice their coping strategies and problem solving together, so that they're able to handle that first day back, because it's normal to feel a lot of different ways about school starting. You can be excited, you can be scared. What if nobody likes me? What if I get bullied? What if I can't make any friends? And we don't want to minimize those fears and dismiss them and say, oh, you'll be fine. You're worried about it. It's silly. That's kind of that's not being empathetic. To be empathetic, to say, I understand, first day can be rough, it can be tough. I remember as a kid, or maybe you didn't have those issues, but your child's their own person, right?
Right.
But just validating and acknowledging those feelings and normalizing them, and then helping them problem solve. Don't give them the answer, but help them come up with, well, how can you deal with that? What's your plan? What can you do? What are your options?
Right. And as I listen to you, it was alluded to many times, but I think it's important for us to have, as you shared, those family meetings. Maybe it's the first week back of school. Maybe there's more frequent meetings, but maybe every month as we would within a plan, revisit it. How is it working? What's happening, and make necessary adjustments.
And that's one thing we work with our parents here is how to have family meetings, how to have family rules, and get the kids involved. So that when they one day hopefully become parents, if they want to, they can do this. They can pass on these great tools. Because at the end of the day, you're managing a lot of different lives. And with people have different goals, they have different agendas, they have different schedules, and it's a lot of moving pieces. So the more organized and proactive you can be, the better. Now, things are going to pop up that you aren't going to expect or didn't think about, and that's okay too. But if you've already done this work on the front end, you're going to be able to handle those unexpected and those kind of things with a lot more ease and patience than if you're just scrambling the whole time.
Plan and prepare, and really appreciate it. And of course, we're going to have these continued discussions, even if it's only for a few minutes, for you to and your team to share with us some of these tips and to check in with our parents, between now and the next school year. But any closing thoughts, Ms. Miles? Anything you want to revisit, emphasize?
I would just say start now. I mean, of all the tips I've given, I think that's probably the most important one is start now. Be early. It's always better to be early and prepared than, not prepared and scrambling and, and we need our stress levels to continue to go down. And so, managing your stress is so important, and you can do that by being prepared and thinking of it, trying to think of everything. You may not, and that's okay too, but just trying to think of everything you can to get your kids ready for school, get yourself ready to start that routine again, and the after-school routine, the morning routine, and having those family meetings, and just involving the kids so that everyone wins, and just remember to love your kids and give them plenty of hugs no matter how frantic the school year gets, and you'll be able to enjoy the ride. And the road might be a little bumpy here and there. That's life. We can't control the wind, but we can adjust our sails. So
I like that.
Yeah. So just hang in there, and you've got the support here if you need it at the Family Resource Center, 949-0006 or frc@gov.ky. All our services are free.
Thank you very much. And I think in your analogy, sometimes we're at the helm, other times we're riding the weatherboard. So you've got to do our thing. Ms. Miles, thanks very much, Mom. And again, as she reminded us, have a wonderful afternoon, Mom. So frc@gov.ky, 949-0006. Take out some of the angst and apprehension, but also embrace the excitement of what it is to go back to school. I'm going to pause and we'll take a break. Ms. Ventisha Conley from the Ministry of Youth, Sports, Culture and Heritage is going to be our guest. I want DJ to sing the song, Be Your Guest, Be Your Guest. You know what? They say make a joyful noise, boy, and I can do that much. At least it's joyful. All right, let's pause and take that break, and when we return, join us. Call in, you get a prize. Stay tuned for Talk Today.
A caring and community spirit, cherished family and cultural values. These are some of the things that still embodies the Caymanian way of life in the Eastern Districts today. Savannah Pharmacy, your neighborhood pharmacy, located in Countryside Shopping Village, is delighted to offer products and services of real value. Whether it's catering to your family's medical needs or carrying apparel, gifts, and beauty products, Savannah Pharmacy provides you with more than just prescriptions. Remember, they're always just around the corner with everything your family needs and convenient opening hours, including Sundays and holidays. Savannah Pharmacy. For more information, call 946-3336.
Make your house into a home
Welcome to Brand Source Home Gallery, your source for premium products and a premium experience. We'll design and install your dream kitchen with crafted cabinets, complemented with elegant appliances. We'll fill it with quality houseware and cookware. Custom designed closet and storage solutions organize and beautify any area. And with the finest bedding, you'll get a perfect night's sleep knowing Brand Source Home Gallery has everything you need to make your house a home.
The best foundation you can wear is glowing, healthy skin. The offices of dermatologist Dr. Wayne Porter specialize in enhancing your skin's well-being. Whether you're seeking advanced skin care, including any skin cancers, Botox, filler, cosmetic skin enhancements, or simply looking to reduce wrinkles, Dr. Porter offers a full-service dermatology and dermatological surgery practice. For more information, email drporterkman@gmail.com or call 946-9020. That is 946-9020.
Register. Get your clues. Start your engines. Find the answers. The Rotary Central Gumball Car Rally is back. Exciting answers. Exciting prizes for rally car theme, rally preparation, rally spirit, gumball rally accuracy, and more. Same day registration, 11:30 a.m. Start line Cricket Square. Start time 12:30 p.m. Saturday, September 17th. Find Gumball Rally finish line and win. Space is limited. Pre-register now. Only $125 per entry. Up to 4 persons per rally car. Email rotarycentralky@gmail.com. The Rotary Central Gumball Car Rally. A fun event, not a race event. Rotary. All the good you imagine.
Did you know that our reefs are home to over 45 different kinds of corals and more than 125 different species of fish? But an aggressive coral disease called stony coral tissue loss disease, or Skittle D, is threatening our incredible corals. Come to Coral Fest at the Westin Hotel on Wednesday, August 10th from 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. to learn what makes corals so important, how the UK overseas territories in the region are protecting them, and what you can do to help. There will be informational booths, games, prizes, and it's free. Coral Fest at the Westin, Wednesday, August 10th from 5:30 to 7:30 p.m.
Talk to Dick. But I do have some questions. Talk to Dick.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
Talk to Dick.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome back. Thanks for joining us, and thanks to the excellent company of Ms. Ventisha Connolly for the Ministry of Youth, Sports, Youth, Culture and Heritage, and maybe I can add, food and festivities in there. On Fridays, special occasions, and end of the day, end of the way.
That's right. Afternoon, Sterling.
Hey, listen, if it's okay to you and to all of our civil servants, I genuinely say this. I've always known that I wanted to be a public servant. Elected or appointed, it didn't matter. To give and serve to your country, especially in the civil, sort of capacity without being militarized and the like. And to know that we have, people like you within the civil service, whether they're in uniform, whether they're working at schools, doesn't matter where they are. To see that level of commitment, the enthusiasm, the energy, and perhaps only a few of us recognize the service and the sacrifice. Not just the weekends and the late nights, not just when they dig into their pockets, not just our teachers, but so many that we give. It makes you feel honored to be part of that cadre. So, for what it's worth, thank you. You come here, with a smile, with enthusiasm, and it lifts even me who try always to be so positive and optimistic. And even in the days of absence of some, dark chocolate and sea salt, I can still find energy to you. So thank you.
You're welcome, and it is a great, and it's a great company to be in when you have people who, the civil service, who they're passionate about their job. They're passionate about helping not just their country, but the people who make up that country and their communities. So it's great company to be in.
Yeah, man. You know what? A rising tide, floats all ships. And if we are, I say this to someone and it resonated. I said it to someone else almost immediately after. And I got a
didn't know what
response.
You were talking about.
And I said, if we all give all, right, nobody goes without. And your all is not the same as someone else's. It's all you have then. You may have more another time.
Yeah.
But if you give, and anyway, just a thought. So I'm receptive. I'm really, man.
I work and I'm probably biased to say this, but I'm working a great ministry.
Yeah.
Where every day everyone comes in and gives that 100%. Even if they're not feeling it, you would never know, because they walk through that door and they leave whatever problems behind, and they look at the work for the country for that day, and they get to it.
That's what we need to do, and chastise and discipline quietly and privately, praise in public makes sense. And you come in and you bring all you have, and you set about doing the best you can. Listen, it'll bring joy and fulfillment, but it'll also bring to others a sense of this thing has been accomplished, and they see what is important. So that's what we're about.
Yes.
I like it. The last caller talked about we might be in control of when we can set our sails, and I thought, well, we might all be at the helm, but we might have to ride a weatherboard at times too. Yeah, sometimes you're the pilot, sometimes you're the passenger.
Yeah.
So, but your role is important.
Every role is important.
Yep.
So today I want to talk about our September 3rd kickoff event and those items that are going to be done on that day. So September 3rd is a Saturday.
Okay.
And we have the National Song Competition and the District Heritage Competition happening on that day on Seafarers Way, starting at about 6 o'clock, ending at about 11. So these are two big things to kick off with.
See, kick off. Come on. That was a good time. I was just waiting for you. I know the audience can't see it, but it was DJ's Lindy, please behave.
So
going to it again?
No. So at this point, unfortunately, we still haven't gotten our main website back up. However, we do have all of our social media sites, and all the application forms can be found on our social media sites. And every couple of days we update it so that it's a reminder for people when they are browsing their Instagram feed, it pops up again. So yeah, vendors can go on there, click. Everything is right there. Submit their forms. I get it right away, so that they don't have to worry whether they handed in their registration forms or not. There is actually, for the first time, we're not doing any charge to compete in the National Song Competition, because we are in a rebuilding year. The minister felt it was better to give.
I like that, more better.
More better.
You'll be watching a lot of R&B. More money.
Yeah, it was better to have a prize and not worry about having someone pay.
Yeah.
To
that's more better.
To sign up. It's more better.
So I should try to let me be professional, discipline. We need to laugh, man. Today is a day to laugh.
Yes.
I need a laughter. Good. I don't have my big pictures to look at, so.
So the deadline to get registered, though, is the 22nd of August. We need a little bit of lead time to make sure that we have everything prepared and everything else. So all of our applications for that say, we'll tell you in big, bold, red letters that the deadline is the 22nd of August. And I'm going to stick hard and fast to that.
You do, yeah, make sure.
I can't, we can't have people coming in 3-4 days later and I've already started to do the lineup and confirm with people that they're participating and getting all the judges' papers together and stuff like that. I need to stick to the timeline.
So 22nd of August?
22nd of August is the deadline to sign up.
That's on Monday, is it?
Yes.
Yeah. So guys, you got this week and you got, next weekish. You got time.
Yeah, and they have time. So it's...
Yeah.
I don't know how to.
No. Listen. There are things that you can, unlike some of the politicians, you draw a hard line and then you shift it. No. This is the 22nd. Okay?
22nd is the 22nd.
If you have problems, you call me. I know a guy. Did you, Lynn? He's on task.
So just a little bit on the criteria and the rules and requirements for the National Song Competition. The National Song Competition is built to encourage the development of musicians in local songwriting and the creation of original compositions. I know George called in last week about that, and I really want to reiterate so that he understands we're not taking other people's music and putting our lyrics to it, or taking other people's lyrics and putting our music to it. All of it needs to be originally composed, whether you compose it and I sing it, or Lynn composes it and you sing it.
No, that's a winner. Oh yeah, baby.
So the song competition is open to any Caymanian musician, singer and songwriter. All competitors must complete the registration form, and we're only taking one submission per person or per group. So if you and Lynn wanted to get together and have a little band and do it together, only one submission from the two of you.
But if you want to do two individual ones, two solos, that's separate.
Right.
Now what if, just an example, two musicians or three get together and they do a group submission, that's okay. If they want to do three individual ones, that's okay. And what if one or all three collaborated with one or three others independently? You see where I get complicated there? I can give you all sort of permutations.
I couldn't follow that last one. I couldn't.
Okay.
But yeah, so...
Keep it simple, people.
Yes, keep it simple. So again, the song must be regionally, inspired. So it can be reggae, it can be soca, it can be dance hall, calypso, merengue. I would love to have someone up there doing a merengue song.
Yeah. That would be nice, man.
It would.
The salsa. Yeah, fix it up a little bit bachata.
So, like I said before, and I keep reiterating, the lyrics and the melody and the composition of the song has to be original. You can't plagiarize someone else's lyrics or their melody or song. And absolutely no profanity, no derogatory language. We want it to be upbeat, uplifting.
Yeah, man. You can get there with it or not. Calypsos are, by definition, have enough, suggestiveness in this without you having to. Exactly. Who's better than the Mighty Sparrow? The Mighty Lynn.
We're not gonna get into that one. So, prizes. I know everybody loves to hear about the prizes. Top 3 prizes. First place is $3,000 cash. CI, not US. Second place is $2,000 and third place is $1,000.
3. Wow. Good.
So we want to recognize that, we have that talent here, and we know that it doesn't take 2 minutes sitting down writing a few lyrics.
Sorry, you want me to share what he said? See, we don't want to make it, attractive. Do a tank of gas. When he told me he went to get his car valued, right? And the first question was, is it full, thankful? That's the difference.
No, God's honest truth. The tank of gas or a CUC payment would probably suffice.
That 3,000 might just almost cover that.
I know.
We have a call online as well. I don't want to interrupt you further.
Let's take the caller.
You know what? What's that song we sang in school? Smile. Oh, hey, good afternoon. Welcome. Thanks for calling.
Good afternoon, Sterling. I think I'm going to write the song and you sing it.
Listen. As long as you can give the audience and the judges ear, that thing to put over the ears, I'll sing it loudly, man. How are you today?
I think we will win the people.
I get paid not to perform, man.
but you know what the Rasta man said, right? He said if I had US, you wouldn't see I.
Yeah, if it wasn't US, yeah. I thought about that too. All right. Yeah, man.
Yeah. No, just good because I just decided to call in and tell you that me and you would be partners in that.
Listen. I am willing to do a partner with you to do a parody of any politician that want to be playfully. Huh?
It got to be country.
Is there anything else?
Because I'm country bumpkin.
Well, I hear you, man.
Okay.
Country boy. You could do a little camera back and jig.
You remember me and they had several of them that did country. Because they didn't win anything because they did country.
But this time might be different.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Because I know Maxine McCoy, she did country, and also oh goodness, she's a great singer. She's also from the Brack too.
Young or youngish?
No, she's a little older than.
Oh, I want you to go down.
Yeah, she's a little older than me now.
So youngish.
Yeah, she's youngish.
Okay.
But she did country and also Cardinal da Costa.
Yeah, and you're right, man. You're right. We got a break though. You want to hang on, or you want to join us back later?
I'll join you back later.
Okay, man.
Not a problem.
Listen, thanks very much, man. I'm not afraid to not misbehave too much. What's that song? I'm misbehaving. See. All right, when we come back, you got to call a question, a comment, a query. You give us a shout, and we'll take your call. But Miss Fantasia will remain with us. So stay tuned for Talk Today.
For medical lab services in Cayman, go straight to MedLab.
For a full range of medical services, pleasant, clean and comfortable environment, no long lines and affordable fees, visit MedLab at the Smith Road Plaza. Open Monday to Friday, 8:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. and half day on Saturdays. Call 949-7331 to make your appointments.
For medical lab services in Cayman, MedLab.
Ask our professional team about the benefits of cutting-edge technology with MedLab's new state-of-the-art digital mammogram machine.
Busy. Feel like there's not just enough hours in the day. Savannah Pharmacy, service to make your life easier. Now you can WhatsApp your prescription order to 929-5045. And pickup is just around the corner with everything your family needs and convenient opening hours including Sundays and holidays. WhatsApp your prescription order to 929-5045. Savannah Pharmacy, wholesome values with modern conveniences.
JN Money touchdown. Send the money now. Reach wow. You say you need some money. JN Money, I can send it in a hurry. Get through quick when you come collect your cash or use your money card and swipe it in a flash. Send funds to any bank, yeah. Pay your bills quick, yeah. Low fees, you know what it, yeah. JN Money, we are pick, yeah. Send and receive funds at any JN Money location. It's fast, affordable, and convenient. Money touchdown with JN Money. Send funds to any bank, yeah. Pay your bills quick, yeah. Low fees, you know what it, yeah. JN Money, we are pick, yeah.
Call 345-945-2014 for details. Available at JN Money locations across the Cayman Islands.
And now, a message from the Water Authority, Cayman. To facilitate pipeline improvement works in the area, Water Authority, Cayman wishes to advise motorists and other road users that eastbound traffic along Shamrock Road between Savannah Avenue and Lancelot Drive will be diverted along Greenell Street each day from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. starting Monday, August 8th of the present year until Friday, August 12th. The Water Authority appreciates the patience and understanding of the motoring public and apologizes for any inconvenience this may cause.
The Department of Environmental Health would like to advise Cayman Brac residents that due to elevated seasonal temperatures, garbage collection services will now start at 4 a.m. during July and August. To avoid missed collections, please place your garbage in the enclosure a night before your scheduled pickup. For more information, contact the DEH office in Cayman Brac at 948-2321.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome back. And thanks for joining us. And we have, just like 12 days of Christmas, 12 weeks of festivities in many respects, but there, without question, are many other things that the excellent team over the Ministry of Sports, Youth, Culture and Heritage are doing. The events manager, Ms. Fantasia Conley, is our guest, and you're taking us through. September the 3rd It's sort of like the official, well, not even so the start. I don't even want to call it official because this is, a moving feast.
Yes, it is a moving fest.
Yeah, and a festival.
So first part of it, we talked about our national song competition, and again reiterating that the deadline for entry is the 22nd of August. Everything can be found on all of our social media sites, so Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all of those. It can be found, or people can reach out to me in the ministry, and I'll send them all the information that they desire. So again, reiterating the top 3 prizes. There's no entry fee, but there's top 3 prizes of $3,000, $2,000, and $1,000 cash.
Wow.
So a month or 2 late, Bill.
For the first prize, not bad.
Right. So and all the rules and the criteria when they go to when they click on the link to sign up, all of that is there for them. And then once they submit, they get all of that in their email also. So they don't have to wonder what those rules and the criteria will be. Also on that night, we'll be having our National Heritage Costume Competition. And more so, this is where the districts compete for that Heritage Ambassador. And we've had so many beautiful costumes that have been done throughout the years by the various districts. I don't think there's been a district, and I may be corrected, that has kept, that win
consistently.
Yeah.
It's sort of gone between it's the different...
it's gone between those. So really looking forward to the National Heritage Costume. It's built around the theme of royalty. As I said, probably 1 or 2 interviews before. That's our theme for this year. We want to tie everything in again with the Jubilee and Her Majesty's year. So the theme is royalty, but it's however they choose to express that royalty. So it can be, royally dressing up like the Queen, and I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, royalty.
So, yeah. But it can be, taking elements from the Cayman Islands that are royal to us, the conch shell and our sea fans and thatch and stuff. We want them to integrate natural elements to it and elements that we know are centered around our culture and our heritage here in the Cayman Islands.
So royalty, not necessarily royally.
Yes.
Because it's a theme there too.
It is. Yeah. And I think I'm missing a page here.
Yeah, you know what? I'll take a page from my book, but instead of the printers.
So again, the application form for that is on our social media sites, and people can reach out to me for applications on that. Also on the 3rd, then we'll have our first of, I want to say it's 5, maybe 6 food festivals is what we call them.
Cool.
So I know this was the part you were waiting on.
I said all during the last hour. I mean, I even got somebody to tell you I tried something last night. All right.
What?
So one of our brothers thankfully sent me some nice tuna, and I decided fresh and all prepared. All I got to do is eat it, right? And I decided, okay, what I gotta do? I took some fresh turmeric, as you can see, ginger and garlic. And first I bathed the tuna in a lime and sea salt bath. I drained it, put it in a pot, fresh turmeric, ginger, garlic, sauteed it down. And, to see how it goes, I thought it would different a couple of minutes. I said, you know what, let me do a little sort of infusion, as it were. Took a tortilla, right, wrapped it in it, and then, drizzle it with a blend of fresh boiled red plantain, some nice peppers, and some vinegar. And I tell you, man.
Oh, you were building on that Taco Tuesday?
Yeah. it's inspiration, right?
Oh, well, every time you get in the kitchen, there's never a recipe that I think we as Caymanians actually follow. It's, okay, I'm going to do this, and it's a little bit of this and a little bit of that, and somehow it always comes out tasty.
And I was cooking for one, and I enjoyed every morsel, and it was, it was good, and I didn't have any accompaniment, no dessert after, no appetizer before, no kind of libation, cook no water, nothing. I wanted to just taste the flavors in the food. And sometimes some of us, we go in the garden, some of us go for different things. There are two things I like, cooking is one of them, and I decided I could enjoy that.
Yeah. So our food festival that night, we'll have a couple of vendors on hand, because it's not, we know it's going to be a big night, but not our 31,000 persons on hand. We're going to have probably about 5 to 7 food vendors out there. So there'll be a nice selection of food for people to get. And everything's going to be right out on Seafair Way, so that, we enjoy that breeze. Hopefully that'll be coming off. And not a hurricane breeze, but just a nice little breeze.
And not a political meeting breeze.
No.
It's a good breeze. This is a nice, fresh,
Yes.
Boy, I should be evil. I talk almost.
So the food festival, of course, will encompass our local dishes, Cayman-style beef, and actually, Conch and Wilkes won't be in season yet. So I shouldn't really see it. Well, people will get those things from Honduras, so... Some people may have, the stew conch and the Wilkes. Turtle is always in season. So they'll have some of that out there. So it'll be, and of course there'll be those persons who, do hot dogs and hamburgers. So they're not, if people don't want the heavy food, they can get something light. So our food festival will be there.
Yeah. So this is on Saturday, the 3rd of September?
Yes.
What time is sort of
we want to kick off exactly at 6 o'clock.
6 p.m. Cool.
Yeah. Because then we have fireworks to end the night.
Cool.
So right around 9 o'clock, which is where we're hoping that, the National Song Competition will take about an hour and a half, and then we'll move right into the Heritage Costume Competition, which should probably take about 45 minutes to an hour, with judging and everything else. And so then once we've finished that, of course we'll have some music on the main stage there, but we will finish the night with a nice 10-minute show of fireworks.
Yeah, so you got half an hour, 45 minutes, hopefully that window where people can go pick up a little more to eat if they want, feel the good, prelude for the Christmas breeze in September, and then find a good spot, watch the fireworks. Wow, sounds like a night.
It is a night that we want it to be a family-filled night, so, families come out. There'll be plenty seating around the place that people can sit down and get their meals, sit down, enjoy the show, and take in what's happening.
Yeah, man. All right, let's go to the news break. Let's take this in. When you come back, share with us. And I'm really, really, encouraged and excited by your enthusiasm, the energy that you and the team bring, and hopefully as a country we'll find something in this whole, next few months to enjoy, to embrace, to be able to look at and say, this is something good, because we've been through a lot the last 2 centuries. It's been difficult, All right, let's pause and take that break. The phone lines are open if you want to share a thought, so stay tuned for Talk Today.
Follow Radio Cayman on Twitter. All the latest information, breaking news, community events, and more. Follow us at twitter.com/Radio Cayman.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman.
Your voice, your choice.
Local, regional, international. This is headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
Today's biggest news.
With your latest headlines, I'm Felicia Rankin-Solins. Water Authority Cayman advises its customers of a planned temporary service interruption scheduled for Sunday, August 14th, 2022, between 1:30 a.m. and 6 a.m. to facilitate ongoing infrastructure upgrades in the area. Customers on Hospital Road, Walkers Road between the junction of Goring Avenue and the junction of Hospital Road, Smith Road, and Smith Road between the junction of Anthony Drive and the junction of Hospital Road, Walkers Road four-way will be impacted. In international news, Domino's Pizza's last stores in Italy have been closed after the firm that operated its outlets in the country filed for bankruptcy, reporters say. Including being hit by the pandemic, Domino's had struggled to win over customers in the birthplace of pizza since launching there in 2015. News of the fast food giant's exit from the country was celebrated by some social media users. Tesla boss Elon Musk has sold another 7.92 million shares in the electric car maker worth around $6.88 billion. The sales took place after the firm's annual shareholder meeting last week, regulatory filings show. Mr. Musk says he needs the money in case he is forced to buy Twitter for $44 billion. The multi-billionaire is currently embroiled in a legal battle with the social media platform after saying last month he would pull out of a deal to buy it. These are your headlines. I'm Felicia Rankins-Ollins.
For the latest in news and information,
follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio Cayman app or log on to our website, radiocayman.gov.ky.
We wanna go and dally,
Backyard, Caymanian and Jamaican cuisine. 7 Mile Beach might have changed, but Backyard is bringing it back. True Caribbean food in the heart of 7 Mile, just like Mama's home cooking. Brown stew snapper, Cayman style beef, jerk chicken, turtle stew, and the delicious list goes on. Dine in, take out, or order with the Bento app. Backyard, Caymanian and Jamaican cuisine, 269 West Bay Road, or call 746-4603. Backyard, daily lunch specials, and the one-of-a-kind Fun Day Sunday brunch.
Backyard.
A caring and community spirit, cherished family and cultural values. These are some of the things that still embodies the Caymanian way of life in the Eastern Districts today. Savannah Pharmacy, your neighborhood pharmacy, located in Countryside Shopping Village, is delighted to offer products and services of real value. Whether it's catering to your family's medical needs or carrying apparel, gifts, and beauty products, Savannah Pharmacy provides you with more than just prescriptions. Remember, they're always just around the corner with everything your family needs and convenient opening hours, including Sundays and holidays. Savannah Pharmacy. For more information, call 946-3336.
Subway is giving you flavor around the clock with the new Chicken Squad sandwich options. Try the classic chicken and bacon ranch, the sweet and savory barbecue chicken, or the chicken cordon bleu. 3 new appetizing and delicious sub options that you can also make into a wrap. The Chicken Squad is available at Subway for only a limited time. Subway, giving you something to cluck about.
For medical lab services in Cayman, go straight to MedLab.
For a full range of medical services, pleasant, clean and comfortable environment, no long lines and affordable fees, visit MedLab at the Smith Road Plaza. Open Monday to Friday, 8:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. and half day on Saturdays. Call 949-7331 to make your appointment.
For medical lab services in Cayman, MedLab.
Ask our professional team about the benefits of cutting-edge technology with MedLab's new state-of-the-art digital mammogram machine.
We think it's time you crossed over to a new vehicle. And with the Toyota Corolla Cross now at Vant Motors, you have plenty of reasons to make the switch. The crossover body and hybrid engine is a sleek design in a sturdy structure with a spacious interior that opens to extensive cargo space. Stuck in traffic? The high-performance self-charging hybrid system automatically switches between gas and electric vehicle mode, helping you lower both fuel costs and carbon emissions. The Corolla Cross has full LED lighting inside and out, an integrated display audio system with energy monitor, and a dual-zone climate control system to ensure comfort for all. Test drive the new Toyota Corolla Cross Hybrid today at Vant Motors, Walkers Road.
The Department of Agriculture would like to advise the community that their warehouse, sales office, and plant nursery on Agricola Drive in Lower Valley will now be open 6 days per week, Monday to Friday, 8:15 a.m. to 4:30 p.m., and Saturdays, 8:30 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. For more information, call 947-3090 or visit their Facebook or Instagram page at Agriculture Cayman.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome back, and thanks for joining us, and thanks to the excellent service, of our civil servants, and if Ms. Ventisha Conley, the events manager, and coming from the Ministry of Sports, Youth, Culture and Heritage, for sharing with us. I mean, you talked about a food festival. We'll get into that at some point. 15 food festivals over the next 15 weeks, right?
Jesus,
yeah, I mean, or tastings at least, and national song competition and a district heritage competition, as well as a costume, or is district heritage costume
competition.
Okay. And I may want to ask you at some point, but you talked to us about the song competition, but what are the elements of the national sort of heritage costume should be like?
So the elements, like I said before the previous break, the theme is royalty, and so you can pull any element into that, but we do want to see some of our natural, not so much natural, but our culturally and our heritage pieces in there. So adding a piece of work that's, I'm at a loss for words.
So even as I was drawing a picture.
Yeah, so if someone does a dress kind of thing and does a collar that's made of thatch work, or takes sea fans and glues them together to make that royal kind of collar around their attire, bringing in elements like that, not just having one piece of cloth as a costume. We don't want ghosts on the stage.
I might do a croquet sack and bring a piece of file paper and see if anyone feels it.
The croquet sack would work.
Yeah. No, I'm that aspect of my creativity. I think I was impressed in school that day. I can do the writing and all that other stuff, but man,
you weren't an artist.
No. I can tell you about the art and BS maybe through some of it, but boy, one time the teacher, this was the exam. You had to draw a plane. And I looked around all my classmates, and some of the most beautiful renditions of, the Cayman Airways planes, beautiful planes, even the Concorde. And my page was blank, and the teacher was obviously very, very cognizant that I'm going to be creative. I'm waiting for the right, right inspiration
to hit.
Yeah. Finally, it was only a few seconds left for the class, so I handed in my paper, and he looked at. He said, "Well, what happened? What did you do?" I said, "No, I drew a plane." He looked, and there's a little dot, and I said, "See, that's a plane far, far, far away." You could tell me otherwise. It was a plane.
But you could have drawn a stick plane.
No, but this one was better. See, there was the imagination. I could tell him all about what the plane had and how at the time they were called stewardesses. What they were wearing, what they were serving. But it was a plane. It was far, far, far away.
Far away.
Who was to tell me otherwise?
So yeah,
I know.
We wanted to encompass the theme, but add the local elements, add our cultural elements to it. I know some years ago I saw one, and I keep going back to the sea fan because I distinctly remember this costume having this huge sea fan around it, and I just thought to myself, one, that has to itch, and two, that has to be heavy.
That's the thing. You know what I was thinking too? That's a sea fan. Is it battery powered or has electricity? But, sorry. No, she means that. And then of course,
those sea fans that wash up on the beach after they've served their times in the water for us. But yeah, I just thought it was the most gorgeous thing, an element to add into that costume. But we have the likes of Reba Dilbert and Danielle Watland, those who do costumes for Bada Manu and KMAS and the likes. And, you know, they can take those natural elements and put it into a costume. And that's what we want to draw on.
And I think it'll serve as inspiration for others and those that are listening to be inclined. You know, I gave an attempt at a joke with the art class. Who knows? You know, you do this thing. It's not about winning; it's about participation.
Yeah.
And the more entries, the more it may give you a sense of therapy. It may be giving you another outlet, but it may give you a chance to participate in something different. For many, you know, the Miss Rebas of the world, they're incredibly creative. Yes. But there are others too, and this is an avenue. This year you enter, next year you may win. This year you may enter and win. But if you don't, you know, nothing venture, nothing gain.
That's it right there. And I mean, I do want to encourage, especially our youth, to get involved, because I know there are some creative youth who have that inkling and can do things like this, but they just don't know how to take that step forward. And so I'm encouraging them to reach out to their district heritage committees and say, you know, I want to get involved. The one thing we really want to get out there is that our youth, we need our youth to be involved with our district heritage committees, because that's the next generation of who's going to take.
What's that country song? Who's going to fill their shoes?
That's it.
That's it. Ms. Ventisha, if I could just quickly ask of you, you referenced for the song competition, it could be a collaborative approach, either singing or, you know, composing. For the costume competition, could more than one person work on it and say, this is our submission? I'm thinking even, I know teachers have a lot on, but maybe for one of the classes, a group of students or the class may say, no, we're going to submit this for even for the song or for the costume competition in particular. Could it be done that way as well?
Yes, it can be a collaboration. It's just, you know, who they choose to walk out on the stage and showcase their creation.
Okay, and this is, for some of us, we're, as you just shared, we're a little bit reticent because we're shy for some reason. We don't have that, you know, that confidence just yet. But maybe if you get together with another couple of friends or as a class project, for argument's sake, or part of your youth group or whatever that, you know, that safety and security that comes with the numbers, that sense of confidence, and you do it together.
Yes.
And, you know, again, crafting wasn't my thing, but let's say you have, pink and shares, where you got to, you know, one might be a little bit better at doing that than the other. The outlining, the sketching, you know, the sewing or whatever.
Yeah, it can be very much so. We want it to be a collaborative effort. It's not just one person taking on the bulk of this work within the district heritage committee. We want them to reach out, and you know, it's a two-way street when it comes to that. You know, if someone who isn't involved with the district heritage committee, reach out to them, say, you know, this is the area that I'm good at and I want to help. I want to be involved. And for the district heritage committees to reach out to persons in their community and say, you know what, we know you're good at this. You may want to stay in the back and we're fine with that, but come on board and help us with
something that you just inspired. You know, forgive me, I just used the grandmother with the grandchild, right? But then there are some artisans in our communities who could serve as mentors, for instance, a bunch of different, you know, children, younger ones, and give them pointers and encourage them. Okay, you're working on this, you know, and each one is doing something, and you're coaching them along. And all of a sudden, you know, you as one mentor, or maybe 5 of you, got 50 children who are entering, and they're all winners. Maybe one of yours, but you're not showing favoritism. You're just showing, you know, and helping them to develop an interest by you nurturing them. Another way for the community to be more closely connected.
Yes, that and especially building that intergenerational gap where we see that divide. This is one of those areas.
Yes. I mean, this is why I like your energy and enthusiasm, just inspiring. You know, what about that mentor that's doing something with, you know, a student? They meet every week. This could be a project. It's only, you know, a few days away in a sense, but it's not that far. They can still do a fair bit. Put together a costume. Now, for the costume, I see a costume can be a hairdress. It can be a full garb. this is something that you have to wear, right? It's not just one piece, right? Okay.
Right.
Okay. I you said that, but
and
like I told you.
note that it doesn't actually have to be a female that's up there modeling, and that we would love to see.
Yeah.
You know, a couple of the guys from the different districts, if that costume that they have created fits a male persona better, then do that.
Yeah.
You know, when you move outside of the norm, it's when you actually,
right,
you know, almost achieve greatness.
Exactly. And not to get too technical, this is too much. Again, you know, like I said, I mightn't draw, but writing and other stuff, creative juices flowing. So I'm just asking out loud to you. Let's say, for one of a better word, a big T-shirt or a big covering, overall covering. We think of a costume. It's a piece that you wear that you can wear, and you don't have to worry about wearing anything underneath it. But could they have designed a big T-shirt, a big overall that just goes over you, and then the stuff underneath that you wear keeps you modest, but this thing that you have on you, head to toe, hanging off your shoulders, is the thing that you're displaying, but you wouldn't wear it by itself. If you see what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Okay. I saw a couple of those models on those runaways, and I'm thinking, I like the piece, but you shouldn't have some stuff on either. So it could be that too. It doesn't okay.
Yes.
I mean, you could get a crocus sack, you could pin on the symbols, you could do all kinds of things. Just a thought.
I could find you a crocus sack to wear.
I got one. Little itchy, but I got one.
But I see that, you know, our time is coming down.
Yes,
so again, reiterate that all of our application forms can be found on our social media web sites. So Facebook, Pirates Week Festival, our Instagram, and our Twitter. People can find them there, or they can reach out to me in the ministry. 244-3240 is my direct extension. They can give me a call, or they can email me at ventisha.conley@gov.ky. 1 N, 2 L's.
Okay. So with that, you said that they back to the song competition, 22nd of August is the deadline for submissions.
Yes.
For the costume competition. It's going to occur on, like the song, on the Saturday the 3rd of September. Is that when they reveal it? Do they need to?
That is when they reveal it.
So you go until between now and then to get it done?
Yes.
But they need to apply to make them know. You guys know what's the deadline for that one to apply?
I want to say I've kept the deadline consistent.
Okay. Just to register, say, hey, we're applying. You don't need anything else more than this is us, this is what we're doing.
Right.
Okay.
So 22nd of August is the deadline for the entry form, so that we know.
There's no fees?
No. Yeah. Absolutely no fees.
All right.
And if I'm correct, and I don't, like I said, I think I'm missing a page here. There is prize money.
For that too? Okay. All right. Well, that makes sense. You know what? Who could use a little extra prize money? And if you don't need it, trust me, the staff already came out happily. That's just normally like, don't be talking about that.
Yeah. So yes. So again, the form is on our social media sites. People can reach out to me also if they want the form. And deadline for letting us know that you want to be a part of that heritage costume competition is the 22nd of August.
Okay. Is there a spend? Some competitions say, listen, you can't spend any more than X. And I know some people, it is not about how much money they win. You just want to win. It's just whatever that is. In this instance, that may be a bit technical, but people can put whatever time and energy they want into it. For now, there's no big deal. They can bring what they want.
Yes. We're not, because there's a prize at the end, we're not telling people, that you can't spend $100 on building, on parts and things for the costume.
And again, it's royalty.
Royalty is the theme.
Not royally. That's how it feels sometimes, right? So royalty.
So yes. So again, on September 3rd, starting at about 6 o'clock in the afternoon, come out, join us. It'll be a family affair, and we will cap the night off with fireworks.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a wonderful evening for the family to come out. We're anticipating excellent weather, and nice little, cooling breeze off the waterfront.
Yes.
Coming over, Hawkesbury Bay. So it should be nice. And that road is going to be nicely and safely
blocked off.
Yep.
Everybody's going to be safe. So,
yeah, man. God's willing, hopefully, we can be out there enjoying the festivities, but also some of us could be cheering on, the people that we know who've entered, whether the song or the Heritage Costume Competition.
Mm-hmm. And I have to say that, anyone that wants to take part in the Heritage Costume Competition and so on, we do have a couple of volunteers from the Ministry of Health and Wellness who've reached out to me and said, if someone wants to enter and needs help, we're here to help. Mm-hmm. So let us know. So if someone does want to enter, needs a little guidance, needs help with things, we do have volunteers. But I'm also saying to others that, there are other things that you can volunteer for to assist with the Pirates Fest.
And thank you. I wanted to ask you about that because, everything, many hands make light work.
Yes.
Sometimes those hands come in the form of sponsorship, cash or kind. Sometimes they come in physically. Hey, how can I volunteer? So do we still want to volunteer to help specifically? And what would we be asked to do?
We are still looking for volunteers for assistance with almost every aspect of Pirates Fest. We will not turn anyone away. Like you just said, many hands make light work, and there's only so much places one can be at once. So there are a lot of aspects to volunteering that we need bodies in.
This is one of those cases where your pair of hands can be on here, not unlike a politician. We can have your hands in many different things. This way, you're one spot.
Yeah, I can only be in one spot at one time.
That's it. So the volunteers again go on the website, sign up.
Yes,
and either specify where they would like to help or be willing to be assigned.
Yes,
I can imagine just having someone help for the costume competition, making sure that all the entrants are assembled, and some may need a little extra help getting on the stage or getting off, or there are all sorts of things we can do.
Yes.
And you don't know how much, your help proves to be invaluable. Take up a Christmas concert for a school play. The parents, the teachers helping, just that extra pair of hands that are willing to listen, take instructions, present, makes everything so much more enjoyable.
Oh yes, yes it does. And like you said, we are still reaching out to sponsors and any company or individual who wants to come on board with us and sponsor an event or sponsor Pirates Fest on a whole. We welcome the reach out, and we're willing to meet with you and discuss how your sponsorship can help benefit this event. So
that gives greater sense of buy-in, ownership, stakeholder value, but it helps us to understand the legacy, and you look back. There are some people who remember the very first event in 77. It was a big deal, those who were going through. And it's only when you look back that you realize 20 years was yesterday. Looking forward, 20 years may be an eternity in your eyes. And if we build for that, we can enjoy it. Her Majesty's been on the throne for a long time. I mean, Dr. Lax didn't go too far, but she's been there, right? And it works.
Yes.
So there you go, right? I've always enjoyed, and I seriously share that you've inspired in so many ways. I trust that this be a production that more of us come on board and help. Share with us any more thoughts you want, because it's the 22nd of August. I mean, that's not that far away for the deadlines.
No, it isn't. Just to reiterate, if you want to sign up and be a part of these competitions, check out our social media pages. The link to all of our applications are there. If you want more information, reach out to me. I'm always happy to take a phone call and talk to someone, or even meet with someone if they need that one-on-one conversation. But we are getting pretty close to our first event on September 3rd. From 6 to 11 p.m. We'll be out on the waterfront on Seafarers Way, and with our national song competition and our national heritage costume competition. And as always, the food festival. I'm going to name that after you. Our food festival will be there. So it's a family affair, and we want to welcome everyone to come out, but we also want to welcome those people who want to participate and make this event, a spectacular one.
And I would ask, our families to encourage. We know the singers and songwriters in our midst.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes, just like we feel the safety sometimes within our classroom or our church, give them that start, give them that nudge, and be there to support them. It isn't so much that this might be the beginning of an incredible career. This might be that thing that helps them to
come out of that shell.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's still that sense of confidence. And you know what? I can do this. That can do great things for them.
Yes.
But you as a family can celebrate together. Just as our teachers encourage, our children, their students, we need to do the same for our children.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe it's the artistic expression through a costume. Help occupy them and give them that sense of pride in them.
Mm-hmm.
And then we, the spectators, can look and go, wow, I didn't realize
that they had that capability, that talent.
Yeah, that 5-year-old may astound you with the creativity, just as the 55-year-old might as well.
Yes.
So, any and all, individual or collectively,
yes,
it's going to be amazing.
It is. I'm so very much looking forward.
Yeah, man. Well, I always enjoyed certain aspects of the festivities over the years, and each thing appeals to different people, and this promises to be an engaging, exciting, offering something for everybody. And I think just the competitions, whether it's for the song or for the costume, could bring a lot of more people together, give them a purpose, give them a place that they can do something together and look back and laugh and say, I can't believe you saw it that way. And what were you thinking with that lyric? Stories that
lasting memories.
Yeah, go on for generations and become urban legends. Who knows? I can see it now, and the Martin song in particular. All right. Thank you so much for spending the show.
Well, thanks for
Always
having me, Sterling.
And at any point that we can assist the ministry and the ministries, but let us know.
I will.
All right. The 22nd of August is the deadline.
Is the deadline.
And the 3rd of September
is the big event.
Enjoy all ourselves.
Yes.
All right. And the websites are, almost ready.
Yes.
All right.
Fingers crossed. But everything can be found on our social media pages, or people can reach out to me.
Thanks very much. All right.
Thank you, too.
Have a wonderful afternoon. To the rest of the listeners, I endeavor to try through laughter, hopefully bring a bit of enjoyment and through entertainment. Maybe there's some education and information. But at the end of the day, if you can't embrace life and love in that agape sense, then sit prayerfully and pensively in prayer and see where your heart will be so nurtured. All right. The buzz is on in the morning, my good friend. Is that the plan? I should look at the calendar. I know Talk Today, God's willing. We'll return right after the midday news and midday meditation. We've got some things in store, one of which I'm not told. I can't share just yet. But trust me, you're going to want to tune in. Until then, my friends, be blessed.
Talk Today is brought to you by Subway, open 24 hours in Countryside, Anderson Square in Georgetown, and Centennial Towers in West Bay. And by the Ministry of District Administration, Tourism and Transport. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your sister islands. MedLab in Smith Road Plaza, your complete medical laboratory solution. Call 949-7331. And Savannah Pharmacy